Is this in the shot?
Yeah. You can see the entire table.
Oh. Hello everyone, welcome to the Roller Champions weekly overview. My name is Nax and I will be your host for this new segment that we're doing. So essentially, this little segment or little series that we're doing is not going to be every week, but we're going to try to do it as much as possible whenever there's new information about Roller Champions, the game, the progress within the game, or the RC esports scene.
I'm gonna be honest, I hate that side up there.
We're not restarting, are
No,
we?
not from the
From
he's
where I
too yellow, man.
From where I finished, whatever. I'll just
Yeah.
go next. We figured this would be a good way to get new people exposed to the RC competitive scene, as well as bring you all the news and things you might have missed that the dev team puts out. So the most important thing that happened this week when it comes to Roller Champions is that they announced the mid-season update for the Neo Retro season, and that is coming in just one day. February 7th, we're gonna get a bunch of patches, we're gonna get a bunch of new stuff and a lot of reworks when it comes to the game, which is very, very good. The most important thing is that the bug shot could get fixed. I'm saying could because it might not get fixed. I hope it will get fixed. They've been saying that it will get fixed, so I'm gonna be optimistic about that one. So in more technical terms, the way they're gonna fix this bug shot is to change the pickup time of the ball from 0.6 seconds to 0.3. And that matters because you're gonna be able to pick up the ball a little quicker. Now, it does not seem like a big difference, but in the game, trust me, you'll feel the difference there because it's half the time. So another change within the season is the fact that there's an increased hitbox within the air dodge and the dodge dive, which means you will be able to get those tackles a little bit easier. Another thing that is very important to address is the slingshot. The slingshot mechanic is, if you don't know, is if one player is going off the spine and another player is standing on the ground, they grapple and in the air, they just fly through the sky. So apparently that's going to get patched or at least nerfed because they are decreasing the amount of speed you can gain from that mechanic. Now let's move on to something a little bit more exciting, which is the Roller Champions esports scene. Now the big thing this week is TFL. The second TFL qualifier has happened for both NA and EU, so let's cover that first. This week, the second qualifier for the league play happened in terms of TFL, and the three teams that qualified are Forcus, Focus Y, and Genter Xeon. So congrats to them. They will be joining Ghouls, the Three Little Ducks, and of course Flow in the league play. Excited to see how that plays out. In terms of EU, Will, Red, and Les Garçonas will be joined by SKS, Cybermate, and Bots. Congrats to those teams. I'm also excited to see how the EU scene shapes up. Now, if you didn't qualify this week, like me, then you still have the chance to go through the TFL weeklies and compete for points, essentially. Basically, in the upcoming weeks, there will be a few TFL weeklies that the teams that didn't make it can compete in, and the top 2 teams will move on to the league play, or rather the final 8-team tournament that will happen. So now let's move on to the second part of the Roller Champions esports scene. This week, the 5th NA Neo Retro Challenger Series tournament has been played, and Flow has regained their throne. So they took that tournament. Focus Y coming in second place, Ghouls in third, and Rizzatoni in fourth. Congrats to those teams. You guys played very well. It will be interesting to see what happens in the next coming weeks, especially with the Focus Y roster playing so well. In terms of the EU games, Will took the #1 spot with Les Garçonas and Red following up in second and third place. The EU scene is very interesting to me because it's a little bit more volatile in terms of placements. Like for the most part, it does stay a little bit consistent, but the NA scene seems a little bit more consistent with who the top teams are. It's a little bit more volatile, it changes a little bit more. Obviously in NA there's a few more teams, but it's still cool how the two scenes sort of shape out. Now in terms of the Fruits 2v2, this was a tournament that happened for EU. It was a 2v2 tournament. Will took that one as well. Congratulations to Wetsu and Lalteri for taking it. The Genter Xeon 2v2 tournament is happening as I'm speaking. The grand final is being played. It is Ulu and Character facing off against Doma and Paul Angs. Very exciting match. I played in the 2v2 tournament. ZMax also played in the 2v2 tournament. Obviously, it's a little bit less intense, but still very, very competitive. A lot of very exciting things are happening within the game. Obviously, we have tournaments every week, almost 3 tournaments. Actually, next week will be 3 tournaments in terms of NA. There will be the EU Challenger Series, TFL, and then also the Team Adrenaline tournament that will be happening on Sunday. In terms of EU, I believe there's only 2, which is obviously the TFL and then the Challenger Series. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the first installment of the Roller Champions Weekly Overview. We will be back hopefully next week with a second one, and we'll see you all then. Take care.